this book is all about celebrating farmers and takes us on a journey to farms all across America for an inside look at what it takes to produce fresh, seasonal local food. At Eckerton Hill Farm in Loboxville, Pennsylvania, farmer Tim Stark grows over 70 varieties of heirloom tomatoes.
I think the biggest surprise to me when I started the farm was that I stayed at it, because in the first couple years it was so hard that I used to tell myself 10 times a day, I'm never doing this again. And now I only say maybe 2 times a day that I'm never going to do this again. Every year is a challenge. The weather brings a new challenge, and it makes my stomach do flip-flops. It scares the daylights out of me, but otherwise I think I'd be too bored out of my skull if I didn't have the farm to get me all excited and worried every year. My name is Tim Stark, and we are at Eckerton Hill Farm in Loboxville, Pennsylvania. I like to think of my farm as one great big garden. In fact, a lot of people have commented that that is the way it looks. The farm actually started on a rooftop in a brownstone in Brooklyn, where I had germinated some 2,000 tomato seedlings and realized I could not keep them in the city, so I brought them out to the country, to my boyhood home, and I planted them in the ground, and that was the start of a farm. I didn't have much equipment. I didn't even have a rototiller. I basically turned a lot of ground with a shovel. After my first year of farming, I was able to buy an old Case 530 tractor. It was a 45-year-old tractor. Then I was able to start hiring employees, and the farm grew. And then after 12 years of farming, I bought this farm in Loboxville, Pennsylvania. We grow lots of tomatoes here, and we grow some chili peppers, and we grow some of everything else. We have 2 wonderful mild cows named Maisie and Delilah. We have 3 goats. We have a big old pig. And we have a hen house full of laying chickens. We also bake bread. We have an outdoor bake oven, and we milk cows, and we make cheese and yogurt and butter from the cows. Right now we're picking a whole lot of cherry tomatoes, and it'll be like that for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then we'll be picking a whole lot of large heirloom tomatoes. We start early in the morning, and especially if it's really hot, we're out in the field at 5:30 in the morning. The crew will pick together and they talk and have a nice time. Everyone really sort of coalesces during tomato season. It's sort of amazing. Everything sort of comes together. It really is important to grow your own food. If you have a little patch, just anything, even if you don't get that much sunlight, the first time you ever do it, you're sort of surprised. You think, oh, I put the seed in the ground, and it actually germinated. It seems like a miracle. To some degree, every year for me, it seems like a miracle. I think once you grow vegetables of your own, you appreciate farmers like me a little bit more for what we're doing. I always like to say that the best tomato you can eat is the one you grow in your own backyard, and that the second best tomato is the one that I grow for you. If you're not going to grow it in your garden, you should know your farmer and know how your farmer is growing the vegetables that you're eating, and how your farmer is raising the meat that you're eating, how your farmer is milking the cow. It's really important. You're often cutting out a lot of chemical use, and the flavor is just much better because the food does not have to sit in a refrigerator for weeks on end until it gets to you. When I see vegetables that look perfect in the grocery store, I'm very suspicious because I know the kind of creatures that like to attack those vegetables. Our vegetables on the stand all look imperfect. They have holes in them. They look lopsided. Maybe before I farmed, I might have thought, oh, I don't want that vegetable that has holes in it. But now I'm suspicious of the one that looks perfect. When all the workers leave, I like to walk through the fields and just see how the tomatoes are growing, see the cows and see the chickens. I worked in offices for years before I started farming, and I know that there's just no way I could go back to working in an office when I have a big field like this to walk through at the end of the day. It feels right.